And I remember the day I went to the gym and I sat on the bench and I sat there and I had no desire to lift anything. And I had a moment where I went, wow, I'm strong. Like I know I am. And I caught my reflection in the mirror and I thought, something inside of me is not. And I grabbed my gym bag and I left.
This episode of Rethink Fit and Grow Podcast is brought to you by Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada, www.kbkbstudio.tv.
The fitness world is changing. Fitness celebrities, expert trainers, bodybuilders, and athletes are learning how to redefine fit. On the Rethink Fit and Grow podcast, you're going to hear real-life stories from the heart, tales of transformation, and learn how you can be part of this worldwide movement. And now, it's time to Rethink Fit and Grow with your host, Dela Fotoohi.
Welcome to another episode of Rethink Fit and Grow Podcast. Here we bring you amazing stories of transformation from celebrities in the fitness world. Today, I have the honor and the pleasure to interview a fantastic woman. She is a rocket, this woman, and I am just so excited to be speaking with her and bringing you her story. A little bit about my guest, the beautiful Jodi Barrett. She is a stay-at-home mom of 13 years to 3 incredible children, turned entrepreneur in her 40s. She fell in love with the Russian kettlebell and launched Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada. 4 years later, she launched the online training platform and KBKB Studio. She is a master level trainer in KBIA. She is a Maxwell Kettlebell certified trainer. She has done her physical activity studies, major fitness lifestyle, so BPAS. Jodi is today here to tell us her story of how she turned her life around, how she transformed her idea around fitness and how she feels about it today and how she's impacting the world today through her passion and how she is such an example to her kids, but also to a whole lot of people out there. So it's my pleasure to bring you Jodi Barrett. Hi, Jodi.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
It's awesome to have you. Are you kidding? I'm so excited to talk to you. When I met you, Jodi, I was like, whoa, look at this. Look at this woman. I mean, you are the epitome of what it means for me to be fit. Not just physically, Jodi, but I think all around. I think our ideas of fitness has changed through the years. And so that's where I want to start. How do you see fit? What does that word mean to you, Jodi?
Well, actually, it's, that's a great way to start with it is that it's transformed, right? Like we used to think of it a totally different way. But for me and KBKB, it's strong body, strong mind. And both of them kind of going back and forth from one to the other. It's no longer just the strength of your body. It's your whole self, right? So your mind and your inner strength. So, and that's what I think, true fit is.
You're so right. I mean, I want to go back to where you started. Obviously, there was a time in your life where, you didn't look at fitness the same way you look at it today. How did that transformation happen for you? Was there a specific point in time that you can go back and say, oh, this is the moment of your awakening?
Right? Oh yeah. It's funny because I can go back to it instantly. I was overtraining because I wasn't dealing with stuff that was actually going on in my personal life as well. So I threw myself into my training, and I was super strong. Like, I was able to lift lots of heavy stuff. And I remember the day I went to the gym and I sat on the bench and I sat there and I had no desire to lift anything. And I had a moment where I went, wow, I'm strong. Like, I know I am. And I caught my reflection in the mirror and I thought, something inside of me is not. And I grabbed my gym bag and I left. I went for a walk. I stood, it still always chokes me up when I talk about this story.
I can tell.
I stood on a bridge, and when I realized I had to change some things, and I knew I could be physically strong, and I knew that training was always my go-to, and it helped me because it was a good, healthy habit that I had. But I knew I had some inner stuff to do, some inner strength to work on. And that was my day. That's when I knew I had to make a lot of big changes. And so that was my aha moment, when you sit on a bench and you know you should be able to lift something, but you I used to say the word broken. Like, I used to say I felt broken, but looking back on it now, I don't think about it that way. I think it was more the moment I decided to get brave to deal with the stuff I needed to deal with. So that was my big aha moment.
Yeah. What was going on back then, Jodi?
I was in the process of, I'd sat on the idea of, trying to figure out my marriage and if I should leave. I had 3 kids, so I was a stay-at-home mom. I had a degree, but I had stayed home for 13 years with my kids, and that's, I played the wife role, the mom role, and somewhere along the way, I got lost in what the Jodi role was. So it was just taking that step back and going, how am I going to work on that and move forward? What does that look like? So it was just that transition period when I decided to, leave my marriage and figure out what the rest of it looked like. So that was where things were then. So it's been an incredible journey.
when you said that, in that moment on the bench, you said maybe you felt broken, but then now you look at it and say, no, I needed to get brave. It takes a lot of courage to step out of something that's comfortable for us. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. We stay there because we're afraid to step out of our comfort zone, and it takes courage. And so changing your life around and stepping out of a marriage that you're not happy in, oh my gosh, that would be one of those things that takes a lot of courage for a woman who knows that you also have to take care of your kids. So what's your take on that?
Well, it's like, you see lots of, and I talk to lots of people that it's a hard step to do, right? Because I always think about it, I'm like, wow, your decisions doesn't just affect you anymore. And I think that's a big thing as a person who does decide to do that, because, you're affecting, like in my case, it was 4 other people's lives, right?
Yes.
But, I think when you're working at your self-worth, instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to sit, I grew up with some things where, I grew up in an environment where you've seen families that decided to stick things out, and I wanted more. And I guess that's kind of probably what gave me a little bit more push. And I figure, if you get healthy and your kids, you want to show them that part. And I wanted to show them that, at the age of 40, I had some pretty big plans and big dreams. And I thought there's no better way if I really want to teach them. They might not get it right away, and that comes with age and life experience. But, over time, the bigger picture, I think everybody's able to look back and see that. And it's not so much the breakup of the family, more of the evolution of what everybody does and what your family does.
Oh yeah, that's such a great perspective, such a great way of looking at this, and I love that. Yeah, it is evolution. We're constantly changing, we're constantly evolving. If I would ask you today, Jodi, I mean, for everything you went through, for all the hardship, all the struggles, all the hard times trying to make it, would you go back and change any of it?
No, because you can't. You mean you are the result of everything, right?
Yeah.
And it creates and it builds you. So you can't take that back. One thing, if I could lessen how the hurt my kids felt, that's something I would probably, if you could do that, right? But I think everybody has to grow, and that's unfortunately life, right?
Yes. Yes, and I can appreciate what you say about wanting less hurt for your kids, but at the same time, yeah, we are today who we are as a result of everything we've been through in life. And I swear to you, Jodi, I don't regret any moment of my life. I've made a lot of mistakes. but I feel
we all have.
Yeah, but I feel like if it weren't for those mistakes, I would not be here today. I would not be the person I am today, and I like the person I am today. So
absolutely
right, and so good.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, good for you for changing your life around, because I think as a result of you becoming more in love with yourself, you've shown your kids what it's like to love themselves, and I know you have a story about that.
Oh my God, love the stories.
Yeah. So what comes to your mind?
I was thinking about the story. I think I told you the story about my daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who one day I was getting ready to go to New York, and I told my mom, we were at Chapters, we were at the bookstore, we were having a coffee, and I told her I was going to New York, and my mom says, "No, you're not." And I was like, "I actually am." And that's pretty much it. And I walked down the little aisles with my middle daughter, and she was like, she literally stopped me in the aisle, and she's like, first of all, she said she was so proud of me. She goes, "You're gonna do it?" And she goes, "I'm so proud of you." And then later on, she told me, she goes, "You've really taught me how to love myself." And I've had my other daughter just recently tell me, we were working out the other day, and she's like, Mom, she goes, "If you really work on your body and you eat, you take care of yourself, you can really feel good and you'll see the changes." And I'm like, as a mom, you have those moments where it hits you upside the face, and because you work so hard, you hope you hope they watching, because I'm a big believer in, I can spew to my kids all of whatever I believed in. They're not going to get it as much as if they watch. And for them to come back with me in those moments, and I know they're watching, and I know they're picking up stuff, and you have them say stuff like that too, and it's like, that's a big mom moment where you're kind of like,
man,
your heart swells, right?
Yes.
And it's good, right? So
it's so
good. Like you said, we all make mistakes, and you learn from them, and you hope you're guiding, right, to the best of your ability all the time.
Yes. Oh man. So Jodi, what happened then? How did KBKB come about?
I went and I worked at a dentist office, believe it or not, for 6 days. And I was like, wow, I've never hated anything so much in my life.
No offense to dentists.
No offense to dentists at all. But I went, I talked to my cousin, and I said, I hate it. And I said, I've never quit anything. And he's like, but why? He said, why would you stay somewhere where you really know you don't like it? And I'm like, okay, well, that's a good point. So I actually left that. I ended up doing an online business with another couple people, and it was our own business, and it was an auction. But again, I was like, wow, you should really love what you do if it's your own business, because you put a lot of hours in. So I left that, and I was at a place where, again, I was like, I needed to listen. And I actually took some time and I thought, I'm just going to enjoy being me and I'm just going to listen. And I started doing kettlebell and I started taking Muay Thai classes. And it was like, honestly, I picked up the bell and I can take you back to that day. And I'm like 10 swings in and there was something in me that connected. And an inner peace I felt like I'd never felt before. And then I kept training that and I came across kettlebell kickboxing. So the originator is out of New York City. And I was like, and I don't even know how to explain it, but I always go back to, I had to go quiet and I had to listen. Because when you listen, I think things are laid out for you a certain way. For me anyways, I kind of believe that. And I reached out to her and I said, I want to get certified, but when I meet you, I want to talk about working for you. And that was my first email to her. And right away she was like, okay, well, I'll meet you, but about working for me, that's something we got to discuss. And when I went to New York City, it was my first trip I'd taken alone, solo, without meeting friends or anything like that. And it was a trip I wanted to take by myself because I wanted to be uncomfortable. I'd learned over the past 8 years that you learn the most when you're uncomfortable and the best things come from it because you'll either fall on your face and learn something or, something extraordinary will happen. But both cases, something good will come from it. So yeah, I went there and the second day meeting her, she's like, yeah, we'll hire you. And so I came back with all my certifications and I had a job working for her. And then when I went back 3 months later, she said, do you want to open up the Canadian region? And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I have 2 kids. I said, yes, I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And that was that. And the rest is pretty much history. And it was like, it's just been changing all the time. And, pandemic on top of everything. And yeah, it's been crazy, but an incredible, incredible ride.
Wow. So up to that point, had you ever had any experience in entrepreneurship?
Believe it or not, when I was in high school, I taught dancing. So I had opened up a couple little dance clubs that helped me get through university, give me some extra spending money. And, I think I sold some leggings for a while. And my parents are former farmers turned ranchers. And, I sit back and I thought, where do I get all this entrepreneurial stuff from? And I saw it from the day I was born. Yeah. Like my parents, they pivoted throughout life and that's what they did. So
what do you love about it?
People. Yeah. Well, I love the fitness part of it, but it's the people. It's the connecting with people. And not just the connecting, hey, how's it going on the mats? It's the message that comes at 8:00 at night saying, for the first time, because we train in front of mirrors, you get someone saying, for the first time, I looked at myself in the mirror and I liked myself. It's the, people coming out of your shell when you see them dance in class to be goofy when they've been quiet for months, but they're just growing and they're feeling comfortable in their skin. And yeah, that's incredible. That's what it is. That's what it's about. It's about growing. And, I said we had our 1-year anniversary at the studio on Tuesday and
congratulations.
Thank you. And they made up me a couple canvases and I said, Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada started as my journey. It was about my story. And I said, but KBKB studio, our studio and our online, it's no longer my story. It's their stories. It's their stories that will build and grow the company.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This episode of Rethink Fit and Grow Podcast is brought to you by Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada. www.kbkbstudio.tv.
Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada is a unique training program that fuses the Russian kettlebell with martial arts movements. The training is focused on creating a strong body, strong mind. Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada is a fitness program that is also about a healthy lifestyle. For more information, go to www.kbkbstudio.tv. It's so much more than a kettlebell.
And we're back with Jodi Barrett from KBKB Studio. What is so special about KBKB Studio, Jodi? What sets you apart?
I think because there's it's a family, it's a home, it's a safe place. Like if anybody ever felt uncomfortable in the studio, I would always go out of my way to make that better, because I feel like if you can training's a healthy habit. So if you're struggling with something in your life, if you can have a healthy habit that will help you grow strong in that part, then you can get stronger in the other part. And I think it grew from there, and I think that's what it is. So I think that's what makes it different. I think people feel that.
Yeah. And it's so true. So when something really great happens, when we kind of grow into that self-confidence state.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it amazing? And you've probably seen that with people. And as you said, you see them grow,
yes.
right? So what happens to people when you see that change? Like what do you notice?
It's just, I always used to, the funny story I think about, when you see the pictures, the before and after pictures, I never used to do them because I was like, I don't take a picture, we shouldn't do them. And then I did them. And then, because you always think that the second picture looks so finished, like, oh yeah, they did their hair. They,
yes, filtered.
And they look,
and they have a smile.
Yeah. But the truth is, and you just said it, they have a smile. And it's that inner strength and confidence that they get from the beginning to that after picture. It shines. You don't have to filter. You don't have to polish that. Because if they've had the transformation, it will show through. We're just doing a walking challenge right now. And the extra task today, I said, take a picture today. Not for me, not for anyone else. I said, but I want you to take it. And I want you to take one when we're done. Because if you change and you stick with it and do the work, you will be able to see that in a picture, because it'll show your confidence and your inner strength, versus even if you hadn't done a whole lot of physical on the outside, that inner will start to come through. And it's incredible when you watch the evolution of somebody, it shifts. And it's like, when you see somebody and you see them truly smiling, like my kids, to be honest, my kids have talked about a smile that I've had on my face. And when we were going through everything, at my middle one, she said, Mom, she goes, your smile is so different now. She goes, I didn't notice until I got to see the other one.
Your kids are something else.
They're really great.
What does that mean to you when you hear something like that?
That they pay attention, right? They're aware, and it's good. And they always tell me, they're like, are we going to have another philosophical moment, Mom?
They love it. They love it deep down inside.
Oh, they do.
They may roll their eyes at you, but they love it. They remember these things.
Yes. Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Jodi, at some point you had to transform again your business because of COVID, right?
Yes, we did.
So that must have not been easy. I mean, a lot of people sat back and they said, okay, we'll just wait this out or whatever. And a lot of people didn't make it because they were so closed to change. What did you have to do?
Well, I've always, and everything in the last 8 years of my life I've learned is you change and you move all the time. And that is the only way to get to the next page the next day. So I already had an online training platform on my website because I came from a small community. I wanted people in small towns to be able to train online because I wanted everybody to be able to have access to fitness no matter where you were. And I wanted it to be relatively at a reasonable price that you could actually do it. So when we went into lockdown on a Wednesday night. By Friday's class, everybody in my studio had picked up a kettlebell, and we had run our regular Friday class online because we pivoted to that immediately.
That's fast.
Yeah, it was crazy fast. I was lucky that I had that there I had just crazy was December. So that was March. December, the previous December, I had changed my online platform because I wanted to work on it because it was something I wanted to always grow. And so I had the platform, and it was kind of nice because I had it, but I never put a whole lot of time or thought into it extra because, I was busy with teaching and, the certifying trainers and really, I'm going to probably be few of the rare people that I tell you that I learned so much in the pandemic, and I believe that it's helped me grow because it helped me grow my online because it shifted my focus. It made me have the courage to open my studio. Like the day I got the call that they were closing everything, I was standing in the space across the street looking at the space that I was going to lease to open the studio because I had previously just rented. And I had to make a decision in about a week if I was going to go ahead with launching our studio. So it pushed me to do stuff because I think if you don't make that step, and even if the step is wrong and you slip, I think you still have to make that step, because if you don't make the step, you're not slipping and you're not learning.
Mm. I heard from someone really wise, I can't remember who, that indecision is the worst decision.
Yes, I agree.
Because you're always learning. I mean, if there's no such thing as failure. How do you see success, Jodi? What's your definition of success?
I think probably freedom, and freedom to be able to share. For me, my definition would be able to share my time with my family and friends and be able to learn and have adventure. My success is so full of, I sometimes run off on a tangent.
I love it. But it's great. Yeah.
I think it's freedom, right? And freedom in the sense to, I think about that right now because people ask me, they're like, where you are for success right now? And I'm in different points and parts of my life. I was just thinking this morning when I get to go out, I went out a little bit later today at 9 and walk my dog, and I do a little bit of my social media there and posting stuff. And that's success for me too, because I'm getting to do what I want to do. Right. Like, and there's always going to be things that are harder and things that you give up, but I think you just got to it's about finding what works best for you and what that looks like, I think.
I like that definition of success, definitely. So when we were chatting the other day, you showed me something that was really cool.
Yeah. I was so
excited. Do you want to share that with?
Absolutely. Yeah. So that when we first met, you called me and I went to FedEx because I was picking up a parcel, and I was like, I literally pulled over on the side of the road and I took it out. I got a 72-pound on-it kettlebell from a client who's been training with me online. And I was so excited. I'm like, I had to swing it. I had to train it. Now, the story behind the bell is that I had a gentleman that trains online with me. He lives down in the United States. And I posted on my Instagram story, I had a 53, and I'm like, I said, I need a heavier weight. And then it was also my birthday month, and I went all out this year, and I'm like, I'm celebrating my birthday every day until my birthday, and I'm going to get my clients doing push-ups with me. So I was doing all this on my story, and he sent me a message that day, and he's like, Jodi, he goes, it's your birthday, it's coming up, and what do you want for your birthday? And I said, every year I ask my kids for a grill, a kettlebell. But I said, they always say, Mom, come on. Like, we could probably afford to buy you a cake, maybe a card. We just kind of laughed and we chatted back and forth. And before I knew it, up on my screen pops that there is a kettlebell coming my way. And I was like, I can't believe you're sending me this bell. And he's like, he goes, you do a lot of good for people. And he goes, I just would like to give that to you. And he goes, and my mom always said, if you can do something kind, that you should. And that is the story of my grill kettlebell that I got. That I love. I absolutely love it.
It's a beauty. And I don't know much about kettlebells, but that one was a beauty. And I'm sure there's a picture of it on your website or on your social media somewhere.
Yes.
And before,
yes.
if anyone wants to see it, go find Jodi. Jodi, where are you on social media, on Instagram, Facebook? How can people find you?
Yeah, so I am pretty much everywhere. Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada on Instagram, on Facebook. We do have a TikTok. We have a YouTube. I'm trying to think what else. I don't tweet very much. And then we are on display. So you'll find us.
Awesome. So what can people get by joining you, Jodi?
They can get in the best shape of their life, and not even just the shape. They can get where you feel good. Like I always say, it's not just a kettlebell program, it's a lifestyle. So it's about training so you feel good, so you can do things. Like I was in the mountains with my mom on the weekend, and we went for a hike, and now she's doing the challenge with me, because when we are hiking, she's like, I'm not in good enough shape. I feel out of shape. So she's doing the walking challenge with us. So it's just really about taking care of yourself on a whole level so that you can have the best life you deserve.
Oh, I love that. Well, something really cool happens when we as individuals start getting in shape. And by getting in shape, it's that whole 360 view, right? It's not just
Absolutely.
your physical shape. We're talking about, everything, your mind, your spirit, your body. And so you start affecting the people around you. That's the craziest part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say it becomes that's why I always say it's a lifestyle,
yes.
Right? Because then the people around you, they start joining in, or you start getting attracted to the people that fit that mold, right? It's like, to break it down a little bit more, it's the positive people, right? Yeah. Like it's the thing where if you put positivity out there and you're focused on being positive, taking away the negative, you're going to shift, right? Because negative is not going to stick with the positive.
Yeah. It's a great place to start. The effect of it on your mood, and it's awesome.
I told you the story, right? When we used to train Muay Thai really early, me and my girls, it was like winter here is cold, right? Like, so it would be -30 some mornings, and we get up to be there at 8:30. And I'd get the girls out. My oldest son, he didn't come in the morning, but my girls came, and they would be like grouchy. We're all grouchy. And we would get in. I would train because they had to come early for me to train, and then they would train after. And we came out one day and it was snowing and we were laughing and someone threw a snowball, and we got in the car, and my middle one looked at me again and she goes, isn't that incredible, Mom, how we're not happy and we're grouchy, and then we do some activity and now we're all happy? And I'm like, oh my God, if I could bottle that up and share that with everyone.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's just showing up. Right.
And if you haven't ever had that experience, you wouldn't know it.
No.
Right. And so it's one of those things that you have to experience for yourself. And I wish that for everybody, because
Absolutely.
It's an awesome feeling.
Jodi,
thank you so much for
thank you
putting this amazing program out there for people to join from anywhere, really. I mean, if you're anywhere in the world, you have access to internet, you can join Jodi's KBKB studio. Is that right?
Absolutely. I just set up a gentleman from Iran this morning, so
no
it's pretty cool.
Way.
Yeah.
You know that's where I'm from, right, Jodi?
I didn't know that. No.
That's funny.
Yeah, that is funny. That's cool.
That's funny.
Cool.
So yeah, if someone from Iran can join you,
right?
Yeah, you can do it from anywhere. This is really incredible. I think this technology has brought us to a whole new level. What do you think about this? Like, how do you feel about the world right now?
I think it's incredible. Like, again, you want to look for the negative in the world, you'll find it because it's there. It coexists. But if you look for the positive, like if I didn't have the internet in the way of social media, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Yeah. And it's incredible that we can connect so easily with one another, and the world has come so much smaller as a result of that.
Oh,
you can
connect. The opportunities are endless, right? Like actually when I was in Vancouver, I did a workshop at New Balance Vancouver. I met a lady there from Dubai, and she's following me, and she just finished doing our abs challenge that we did in June, and hopefully she'll do our glutes and core challenge in August. So, I mean, and I connected with her, and I haven't seen her for 4 years. See? And she trains with me. So, yeah, it's incredible.
So Jodi has all these like really great challenges on a monthly basis that you have one.
We try. Yeah, I was going to pause and take July off. And then I'm like, no way, we're going to do a walking challenge because walking, everybody can walk.
Everybody
can walk. And it was a challenge that I got to get my mom in on too. So, and a couple aunts. So it was good.
Awesome.
But yeah, August, we're doing a glutes and core one. And again, I decided for the 3 months of the summer, I wasn't going to do a challenge that involved the kettlebell because I really wanted to get people just moving and teach them some basics so that when they're ready, they can, dive into our beginner kettlebell program online. So,
wow, that's a way to go. I mean, you're so creative. Good for you. And thank you. Thank you so much for everything you do to help us get in shape, just, in every way, actually.
For anybody who's wanting to move forward, I think that's the thing. You got to move forward and just get moving, take that step forward. And I think training is a great healthy habit, as I'd like to say, to get yourself started and work on strengthening both your inner and your outer strength. Just got to take that step.
Take a step. Right now, like today is the best day right now, right? We procrastinate
Absolutely.
So much. Like, let's just do it. Let's just start right now. And contact Jodi at kbkbstudio.tv and get on one of these programs with her from the comfort of your own home, anywhere in the world. I think
absolutely.
Awesome. I think it's awesome. Well, thank you, Jodi. It was awesome talking to you. It was such a great conversation. I wish you the very best. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep shining your light on this world. You're making it a better place for the rest of us, my friend.
Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure. And so great visiting and talking with you. And I'm sure we'll connect more.
I'm sure. Very soon. And for everyone who's listened to this podcast, if you found this podcast helpful to you, please share it with other people. Let's spread this inspiration and this motivation to change our lives for the better. You've been listening to Rethink Fit and Grow Podcast. Have a blessed day. Till next time. This episode of Rethink Fit and Grow Podcast is brought to you by Kettlebell Kickboxing Canada. www.kbkbstudio.tv